Hi, it's Jen and welcome to my channel, and on my channel I talk about personal growth and neuroscience. And I want to dig deeper into the mind-body connection. Examples of practices that enhance the mind-body connection include yoga, mindfulness, and walking meditations, and these things have all been so important in my practice lately, so I am so excited to be talking about yoga today. On April 19th and 20th this year, I participated in YogaFit's Level 1 teacher training. So it was a 20-hour practice, and it requires me to do 8 hours of community service, which I will do a video on later. But today I will be talking about how YogaFit compares to other styles of yoga that I have practiced. The first point I want to make about YogaFit that is different than other styles of yoga is its focus on proper spine alignment. So I particularly notice this when it comes to forward fold and side bends. So I'll show you examples right now of what I mean by how YogaFit stresses proper alignment, whereas other styles of yoga do not stress it quite as much. When you go down into your forward fold, you keep your spine straight the whole way, and you bend your knees as much as you need to, and you go down and keeping the spine straight, and when you come up, you go back to that straight alignment and then come up straight. Whereas in Jivamukti, I know there's a pose where you go like this, and you round down vertebrae by vertebrae, one vertebrae at a time, and then you come back up vertebrae by vertebrae. So that is one big contrast I got from YogaFit and other styles of yoga that I've done. YogaFit also recommends you keeping your feet under your hips at all times, whereas some types of yoga have your feet touching, which is the more traditional way that came from India, but YogaFit states that it is safer to be like this. YogaFit also really recommends you, when you're doing side bends, to focus more on keeping your spine straight and extending rather than trying to go as deep as you can and collapsing into your spine. The second thing that stood out to me about YogaFit is that one of its biggest tenets is non-judgmentalness. From the first class I took at YogaFit, I noticed this because the teacher expressed to us that she wanted us to do something different than what she was saying at least 3 times during the practice. That I had never really heard that before. I had heard teachers say before, you can go down to child's pose whenever you need to. You can do if something doesn't feel right, don't do it. But this instance was actually encouraging me to do something different and to think outside the box and not listen to the teacher for 3 times during the practice. I don't think I actually did it, but I liked having the option to know that type of thing was highly encouraged, and I want to start to feel more comfortable in doing that in my own practice. And I just know that YogaFit is made for any body type, anyone, even if you're disabled, you can do YogaFit. They work around it and have modifications for every single type of thing. Whereas in some yoga studios, you don't feel that vibe. You feel like you have to be very fit, you have to be very good at yoga. Whereas in YogaFit, that does not feel like the case at all. You can come as you are and you can practice YogaFit. Third thing that stood out to me about YogaFit as compared to other styles of yoga is actually its training program. So how it works is you can do different trainings at different times. So I know there's 5 different levels of training, and then you can take electives. And you can take this over a span of 6 months or 10 years, where for many other yoga studios, you have to either, spend every weekend for 6 months at the studio, or 3 months straight, or 1 month straight, 9 to 5 doing the yoga teacher training. Whereas for YogaFit, it's very flexible. You can have any sort of lifestyle. You can be a full-time, you can work full-time and be a mom and still over time get in your whole yoga training through YogaFit. And I felt like that brought a lot of diversity to the people who were at the training of YogaFit. It's not all just people who can, sacrifice a month of their time or all of their weekends for 3 months. Not that there is anything wrong with that, but it brings in different people, and I thought that was really, really interesting. The fourth thing that stood out to me about YogaFit is its requirement for community service after your level 1 training. So the level 1 training that I did was 2 days, and now I'm required to do 8 hours of community service before I can go on to take the level 2 training. So I find that really cool and exciting because it encourages you to really go out there and teach and to serve. And I know people who have done their 200-hour trainings and have never actually taught outside of their teacher training. Whereas in YogaFit, you're forced to if you want to continue after the very first level of training. And I love that because it's like reminding you like, hey, this is about learning yoga and like teaching it and serving people. It's not just, I mean, there's nothing wrong with learning yoga just for your own personal growth journey, but to me, I like that YogaFit is really focused on that service. And actually one of the main statements of YogaFit is that YogaFit is for everybody, and it's meant for people who wouldn't be exposed to yoga otherwise. It's meant for people who, you know, maybe aren't already super fit but that want to be. And it's through the community service we're meant to be sharing it with people that wouldn't have it already, and I'm just really excited to be a part of that. The fifth thing that stood out to me about YogaFit is its array of electives that you can take for your requirement. So for most yoga teacher trainings, everybody who's in the training just does the same thing for that period of time, whereas in YogaFit, since you're doing these trainings at different time, the main thing everyone has in common is level 1 through 5, but then there is a list of electives that you can choose from to complete the rest of your 200 hours, and I'll just read off a few of them because they just seem so interesting to me. So one is the art of storytelling, yoga for the back, caregivers, holistic yoga, or holistic medicine yoga as a primary care, Indo YogaFit balance board training, kids yoga, pranayama, seniors, yoga for ADHD, yoga therapy for nervous system disorders, YogaFit for addiction and recovery, YogaFit for mood balancing, and YogaFit for cancer care. And then there's so many more, but I just listed off some of the ones that I circled that stood out to me. But I think that's really, really cool that if you have a specific interest, like for me, I'm highly attracted to yoga for balancing moods, and you can dive into that, you know, and choose that as your elective, where maybe other people don't have to do that, but you can choose the ones that really shout out to you, and having that just list of things to choose from can really help you figure out who you want to target when you're teaching your yoga and how you want to go deeper into that. The sixth thing that stood out to me about YogaFit is that at the level 1 training, there is not too much of an emphasis on the spirituality of yoga. And for me, this kind of stood out to me because I do yoga for spiritual purposes. So many of the types of yoga I have done, like Jivamukti, have really focused on spiritual aspects. So I did feel that missing in the level 1 training, but when I talked about this to other people who were higher up in the YogaFit training, I was informed that actually in level 4 of the 5 levels, that is when we go over all the Sanskrit teachings and spirituality of yoga. And the person who told me that, actually, she was in level 4 right now, and she said when she first started her trainings at YogaFit, she was only interested in yoga for the physical purposes, but as she's moved through the trainings, as she's become more aware of her breath and coming into her body, she is now craving the spirituality stuff for the first time, and it comes at the perfect time now that she's in level 4. So I thought that was really interesting because YogaFit can be a good way for people to get into yoga who, you know, they are just doing it for the physical purposes, but with time and as they deepen their practice, the spirituality is introduced to them at the perfect timing for them. So all in all, I found my experience at YogaFit level 1 training to be very non-judgmental and safe, and like I said earlier, I met a diversity of people because the way that it's set up, where you can do your trainings in 6 months or do them in 10 years, there's just such a vast diversity of people in my group. And I saw so many people learning yoga for completely different reasons. Like one woman was a nurse practitioner and she was learning yoga so she could teach prenatal yoga at her hospital. Another woman had severe asthma and is teaching yoga so she can help people with asthma overcome asthma through yoga, because that is actually the only thing that worked for her. Then I met a man who was doing the yoga teacher training because he has been doing yoga to stretch as an athlete, and he's so passionate about it, and he thinks more men should be doing yoga because it has been so helpful for him. And I just felt like I don't see that type of diversity in other yoga classes that I have taken. It's just set up so inclusively and so in such a safe, scientific way. I hope you liked this video, and if you liked it, please like it and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'm going to be doing 2 more videos on YogaFit. One will be on the key takeaways I took from YogaFit, and then the third one will be on my community service experience that I will be doing for my YogaFit to complete the level 1 certification. All right, bye.